What is up, everybody? Welcome to a hit new show called Dragon Ball Super University. My name is Tam, and I'm joined by
Xavier
and
Cody.
So I do this other podcast for a different card game, and we call it Study Hall. I would love to find out a cheeky name for us to name this show.
Hyperbolic Time Chamber.
That's really long for the intro. But anyways, what this show is for, what it's designed for, is we, as the Omaha community, are sitting down in front of a camera and talking about different aspects of the game. We're all bringing a topic, and then we discuss it for your amusement, entertainment, and knowledge. So with that said, we're going to start off with Xavier's topic. Xavier, what happened this past weekend?
The DBS Regional.
Yes! This game's very new.
Yes.
I'm new to the game. I've only ever played 2 decks ever. The deck that I've played was Vegito. They're just bobbity people, and it was fun. And then I read the bad Son Gohan with Triple Strike, and the words, "You lose the game," are on the card, and I was like, we found it. That's all I want to play. So tell me all about this regional that happened. Learn me.
In a previous video on Cody's channel, I'm sure they'll
Link in the
doobly-doo in the description. We talked about our expectations, what we thought we would see, and we were kind of wrong.
Okay.
At least in regards to the top cut.
Sure. So, give me a recap because I might not have watched that first video.
So basically the thing that we went in was, so at Orlando, which was the regional before Vegas, which happened about 2 or 3 weeks ago, Mecha Frieza was 14, I think, of the decks. And then everything else was like trickling down, like 6 I think was number 2, which was Cell. And then with this regional that came up, I didn't count how many Mecha Friezas was in there, but it felt like it was less than Orlando.
Okay. Why do you think that is?
People learn how to beat it.
Okay.
So the biggest thing that everybody saw a flaw with Orlando, which is what we mentioned, was Trunks aggro, was a deck that was under the spotlight a lot.
So, for Trunks aggro, that's just because Trunks is so aggressive?
It was the aggressive strategy.
Okay.
So everybody that was playing Friezas were normally playing 4 Monicas, and what that card allows a Frieza player to do is to basically pot a greed at the cost of 1 life. But they get themselves so low that aggro decks can just have your opponent kill themselves while you're also killing them as well.
Totally.
And just putting them, when you attack for double strike from 5 and put them down to 3 life, then it's harder for them to win, because playing spells for free gets a lot harder when you're putting yourself from a 3 to a 2 range.
Yeah.
The 2 range is when you're more susceptible to just straight up dying out of nowhere.
Especially with things like Miraculous Comeback Gohan existing. You can't take something to the face, or you can't have a dude die.
Well, the biggest thing is the Furthering Destructive Champa, the combo card that gives a battle card double strike.
You're right.
So that card is what kind of shifted towards more aggro decks being a lot better, and I think in the top 4 you saw a decent amount of those, except for the surprise Golden Frieza deck.
And Destructive says any card, not just your character?
Any card.
Okay.
So the card gains double strike.
Alright.
And it's really good because Jocko is normally like the counter for that card, but it's just because it's a 15k point swing, not that it reduces the card's double strike.
Okay. Alright. So what won the entire event? Did we already say?
Vegeta.
And what colors was he playing?
Blue-green.
Blue-green. Okay, so blue is all about like mana ramp and control, and green's about hand destruction? We're going to get into monocolors in a separate topic tonight.
They both have mana manipulation, but yeah, green is generally hand destruction.
Green is like, the best way to put it is like black from Magic, where it's like hand destruction and
manipulating the board state.
And a lot of Necrotons. Kill spells. The play a thing, kill something. That's Necrotal in Magic. Where you play something and it kills something.
Sure. What got second?
Golden Frieza.
Golden Frieza.
Yellow, blue, Golden Frieza, which was probably the shocker.
Yes. I didn't think that deck would be seen at all.
And Vegeta was just hella aggro.
Yep.
And then Golden Frieza was just like a tempo deck?
Golden Frieza
yellow dudes, kind of?
was it's in between. It felt like a mid-range deck, but with information. So the information that it normally got was they were playing the promo. I think it's Planetaire Mecha Frieza. I'm not sure if that's the exact one, but it's from set 1.
I'm gonna do my best to have these all on screen if I can figure it out.
When it comes into play, you look at your opponent's hand, and you can choose up to 1 battle card, and your opponent plays that card in rest mode. And it's a 20k double striker. So what you do is like you can play that card.
That's really cool.
And you can take like something like a Further Destruction Champa or a combo card that comes into play, but it's up to, so you don't have to take anything, because when they play it, they still get the effect.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna like, all right.
Piercing Strike Sun Gohan.
I was gonna say more of like Raging Terror Brawly or Rampage.
BRS.
Yeah.
But we like
Piercing Strike Sun Gohan.
Yeah, like
obviously.
you're not gonna bring in their win condition because bad things are gonna happen to you, or like bringing in the determined Super Saiyan 2 Son Gohan, one that
just kills something,
yeah,
or
so
Kale.
just be like, yeah, okay,
Like
kill
I'll
your thing.
nuke your board.
So.
And at the same time, it gives you like hand information.
Yeah,
you just get the peek.
That's
like,
yeah.
Do I push?
Yeah, you get a peek, that's super relevant in this game. That's probably how he stole a lot of games, is because he was playing the 7 mana cooler that can bring out like 2 of those, so he get a peek twice.
Yeah.
And then just like bring out combo cards from his hand. So that's like another thing you could do, is if you put that card into play when you're trying to push for game, you can take a combo card away from them. So you can take a 10k combo out of their
Would have been
hand.
nice against you, huh?
Would have been super nice.
So there's a lot of. So he found out a way to reoccur that effect, which made it a lot stronger. And on top of that, he was playing Golden Frieza, which doesn't take as much damage, which will be better against the aggro matchups that need to do the full 8 damage to kill your opponent instead of roughly like 4 to 6.
Sure, because things like Frieza and
Mecha Frieza
most
kills
green
itself.
decks that TN themselves, they kill themselves to try and swing into that desperation a little quicker.
This deck still has like the power of the Frieza ability, which allows you to cycle a lot of things.
Mhm.
So what the Frieza ability does is you can kill a card, untap energy, and then draw a card.
Sure.
So it plays like a bunch of 1-drop duders that it just like plays, gets their effect, and then kills them, and then pluses a card off of that and untaps.
Perfect. I'm going to pause you real fast. We're all listening for the camera just because the battery's low, and we'll just do hard cuts, but we'll leave it on that. What got third? Do we know?
No
No,
idea,
no idea.
actually.
So is that just... Okay, so that brings
wha-
me... I wanted to get to this point a little
So-
sooner.
So the third and fourth, I knew were not Mecha Frieza. One was, I think they were both blue-green starter deck Gokus.
Wow.
All I know is Top Cut was not Mecha Frieza.
There were no Mecha Friezas in Top Cut.
I think there was,
At least not in top 4.
Two.
Oh,
Two
sure,
Final
sure,
running,
sure.
I think like 2 in top 8 or something like that, 2 or 3 in top 8.
But the presence was not there.
What
What you were saying?
How was the event coverage? Because everything that I've heard was actually just bad.
I didn't watch it. From what I heard,
Non-existent.
It's non-existent.
Non-existent.
Okay, so I'm going to talk to you, the good people. On this podcast, we want to be as positive, as community-friendly, and the good people who run this game, if they ever, in their big wigs, if they ever do see this, we don't want to shit on the game, but what we do want is to give ideas, suggestions, and true feelings about how we feel about the RAN event. And as somebody who could not be there, because we had to purchase tickets, is that a thing we had to do, right?
Yeah.
More or
So with
less.
us having to purchase tickets and not get there on time because of, we live in Omaha, the event coverage just didn't happen, didn't exist.
So basically what was heard through the grapevine as someone who woke up on Saturday waiting for the event to start
Excited.
with a 2-hour delay being on the West Coast. So the first thing that happened was their computer that they were going to use to stream broke. They
Okay.
apparently fried the motherboard.
Okay.
And so obviously the number one step from someone like me who works in IT is, redundancy is a great thing when you have backup.
Yeah.
always have a backup. And apparently they were trying to get like some others, and then eventually it boiled down to the Wi-Fi sucked.
Okay.
So at that rate, they're just like, the Wi-Fi sucked, so we're just not doing it at all.
And they didn't even do like round updates?
No. And they also did not post for the first time in the 3 or 4 regionals that have happened. There were no top 32 deck lists at the end of day one.
Interesting.
So it was really annoying as someone...
As a spectator.
Yeah, like someone who was just like, okay, the Wi-Fi sucks, we're not going to see anything whatsoever, but I really want to see the top 32 deck lists.
We care about the game.
And they're just like, yeah, you're not getting the top 32 deck list. Because then the reasoning is because, so no games were on stream, so no one, you're at a disadvantage when you play on stream, for the most part.
Sure, I guess I can see that.
In a blind, so that's why they give everyone the deck list. That's why they did that in Magic.
So
seeing as there's no stream, they're just like, all right, nobody gets a deck list, like at the end of the day one.
So in order to like keep things as quote-unquote fair as possible?
Well, I mean, still there's scouting.
Yeah.
You know, like you can have teammates scout like, you know, top tables and just look at that. I don't know.
That was a good job.
That's still a problem in Magic. It's just like you scout opponents, and then like when you go look at pairings, your teammate's just like, oh yeah, he's playing this, and he's sideboarding this and this and this. I watched like 3 of his games already. I already dropped out of this tournament. This is what you got to play around. Okay, that's still a real thing. And
drop out of tournaments.
Definitely, like, that should be something. You should still give out deck lists to everyone at top 32. If this was a common thing that happened in the past regionals, just because of a live stream, if there wasn't a live stream, you should still treat it like there was, or like information's getting out. Because you're giving players unfair advantages by having teammates scouting.
And I'm sure if deck lists were required at other events, it must be in the tournament floor rules somewhere, or in the tournament rule set of this happens at 32. Unless it's something written in the rule of if no stream then no 32. I guess that'd be fine because I mean it's written. But it seems really arbitrary to jump in. Do we have access to the floor rules at all? You can find it on the internet?
On the DBS website. I have looked at a version of it.
Sure. If we're wrong, let us know in the comments or even Discord. You can message Cody Johnson directly.
Like a lot of
You're
things,
welcome.
it fluctuates, so might not necessarily be the best thing to pick and choose from.
That's fair.
I mean,
That's fair.
it's even like one of those things that should be up to ARGs, just like discretion. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's what I'm
So
looking
this is an ARG event,
This is
not
an
a
ARG
all
event.
ARG.
not a Bandai.
for. No, so
Bandai's running the
Bandai gave ARG, I think you guys host regionals rights.
Okay.
So the floor rule thing, regardless, like if you show top 32 lists, you should show top 32 lists all the time, regardless of the stream or not. Just because, so one thing I think that happened is it was 7 of 8 pro play games, so of a team, I think, made it to top 32.
Okay.
And definitely that guy that was not in top 32 was definitely like 100% peaking for everybody else. There's no way he won it. What would that guy be doing? You're on a team, like you guys are trying to win. What do you tell your teammate? Hey, go watch future matches that are going to be happening for me in this top 32 bracket and tell me what they're playing so I can play around it.
I mean,
You don't even have to be on a team to do
that's
that.
part of the strategy of being at an event.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna bring this up, and you're gonna understand. We do that at UFS all the time. It's strictly for diversity battles. I don't care about the rest of the game. I care about what my opponent, my character's doing in the rest of the game.
Now, do you?
How is that person doing at the event? It's not quite exactly the same, but like we have scouts happen all the time, and they happen in every game.
Yeah, in every single game, but you can minimize that effect significantly if you just give out the deck lists.
Okay. All right.
Because then it just doesn't matter. Everybody has the same knowledge, same information. They do it for every other card game.
We could talk about the logistics of running an event as like a future topic. But back to the regional itself, you said you were incredibly surprised. Does this change your mindset of the competitive game now? Is this information from this regional that you're going to take back to locals and say, maybe I'm going to try Golden Frieza and mix up the list a little bit? Is this something that you guys are looking at?
Oh, I'm definitely going to try the Golden Frieza list.
I would try the Golden Frieza list. Me personally, I actually don't have the promos to do that.
Okay. Which is a whole other topic we can talk about. We can totally talk about promos.
I also no longer have the Golden Friezas. The medical issue.
The medical.
You're welcome, kid.
Trades. Yeah, are there any last minute thoughts we want to talk about the regional? Is there anything
rulings.
Rulings?
I heard there was an issue with a ruling, which
A not announcing double strike.
yes.
So somebody did not announce that their attack was doing 2 damage.
Do we have the card that says you have to announce it?
I think I don't know if it was a Furthering Destruction Champa that was giving double strike, or it was
Boo.
yeah, just like something.
Well, just a card that
Just a card
Says
that
double
just
strike.
says double strike.
But
Oh, okay, so hold on. The ruling is, the game mechanic says if it has double strike printed on the card, you can choose to make it single?
No.
no, that's not a thing.
Okay.
That was the issue. A floor judge? Ryan was talking to you.
Yes, I think I want to say it was a floor
So-
judge.
Definitely stop me if I'm saying something wrong. A floor judge ruled in favor of the opponent. You didn't say it out loud, even though it's there.
Uh-huh.
So it's 1 damage, and that costs the player the game.
Now, that
Double strike is not an if. There are in the rules for like hero abilities. When you attack with an awakened hero, you have to draw. It is not an option.
So double strike is an auto, you would say. It's like a non-printed auto.
No,
it happens.
it has to happen.
So it's like a static. It's just there.
Yes.
Just exists.
Yes.
Permanent.
It's just like it's you're breaking game rules if you're not taking 2.
Okay, so that sucks. And it was just a floor judge. They didn't go up to the head judge.
Not from my
would have.
knowledge. I would hope they would.
I would have hoped they would. I would have 1,000% just been like,
I mean, at the end of the day, it sounds like both of the players were wrong, because it was negligence on both parts.
well,
Both of them can read, and then it sounds like when the mistake was caught, that the floor judge did the wrong thing
yeah,
by not
so,
having the game just be done.
So basically,
Right?
what happened is like
You just
I want
both
to
lose
assume
for
how
one
the
game.
situation happened was like the opponent just took 1 card
Uh huh.
and then like a turn passed and it's like, wait, you're supposed to take 2 or something along those lines, and then they call the judge and then they probably explain the situation, and then the judge was just like, it was just like, oh, you didn't announce that he took 2, so he only took 1, so he just takes 1, and it's just like
That's a really cop-out answer, but
Yeah, no, it's
that's a
just-
hand wave of please continue to play the game. We can't actually go back. But at the same time, it is he said versus she said, so I'm not sure
that's
how
the
much
only
you
thing
can go
that I
back.
can assume what would happen.
I mean, it wasn't on stream, obviously.
But if it was like one of those things where your opponent's just like staring at you, and it's just like, okay, and then he's just like, all right, go to damage, and then he just like take 1, and then his opponent's just like, yeah, judge, and then I did 2 to him, he only took 1, and then the person that took 1's like defense is just like, oh, he didn't announce I was taking 2, and then the judge is just like, oh yeah, you got to announce he's taking 2.
Yeah, it's just a bad precedent.
Yeah, that's wrong. What you said to his last statement of, a turn going by, the game still going, that I can see, since the game is still new, rules
Sure.
are constantly changing, I can see how they might not know how to handle that.
I think at that point, then that floor judge should probably have gone up to the head judge and been like, hey,
Oh yeah, if you
The
make
head-
a snap ruling
that's,
like
that seems...
that's
The head judge should have been there in almost any scenario,
Uh-huh.
and I don't think they did that, because that guy did lose that game.
It's interesting.
But again, on what you said earlier, I'm not trying to be negative.
Yeah.
Only constructive criticism. Rules and wording on cards is something that definitely needs to be nailed down.
It's confusing because, I mean, every card game's verbiage is confusing to people who don't know what's going on, and it's also confusing because it's all super new. So it's totally possible that that head judge just didn't know the correct course of action and did something that they thought was correct. So they thought they were doing the correct thing by hand waving and please continue the game, when in fact they didn't. And hindsight's 2020. It's just something that ARG, because they were running the regional, should get ahead of and say, all of our judges super trained, we've had this mistake and it won't happen in the future. But I don't know how big ARG is in order to have the chutzpah to come out and say that that's not a thing that should happen.